All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're coming in from. Excited to jump into the session today. Those of you who have participated with us before, this is really a session and a series that has been really welcomed by a bunch of brands. It's around behind the agency curtain, where we bring on agencies and experts to really share some of their thinking, strategies, tactics, and how to help you grow on Amazon. So, I'm pretty excited about today's panel and what we've got in store for you. So if you are just joining, please drop your name in the chat or where you're coming in from. I'd love to get a sense of where everyone is coming in from. I know we had a lot of signups through LinkedIn and obviously through the various communication we have with you guys. So really excited to have you on here. Okay, so we have right now we have Gale, who's with us. He's going to introduce himself in a second. I will as well. And then we also have Ali, who's joining us, and we're going to start to roll into this. So quick kind of house notes around this. We really will spend probably the next hour with you. We're going to keep it short and focused from all of us, talking about our different strategy or tactic. And we appreciate any questions that you put in there. We like to keep this organic, whether we're asking each other questions or whether we get questions from you. We'll keep some space for some Q&A at the end. There's also some offers that each of us will definitely have, around this as well. So we'll present those offers, and feel free to connect with all of us, any of us, and we can go from there. Looks like Ali's bit of an echo there. Ali, what's happening? How you doing?
Good. How you doing? How are you? Apologies for the delay here.
No problem. We got Jon as well. So I'm just going through some housekeeping for everyone here. But certainly, that's the agenda. Let's take a quick second to introduce you guys, and then we'll start to roll into it. But Blake, why don't you go first? Tell us a little bit about who you are, the agency, and then where you guys are based, and just your kind of USP in the space. Why are you different? It would be great to hear.
Yeah, definitely. Do you mind if I share my screen real quick? I can share a couple.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Start sharing.
Just a short intro for now. We'll go to Ali and myself, and we'll come back. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to jump into a couple things here about me. So I'm Blake. I'm the CEO of BLAZON. We've been in business for over 5 years. We're Utah-based. Got over 10 employees. We're currently servicing over 100 brands. We've worked with over 250, and our average retention rate is about 19 months. So, and we typically see a massive increase in sales around months 4 to 6 working with us. So I've been in the space personally for about 8 years. I worked at Buy Box Experts previously. Then I decided to step away and do my own thing. So.
Wait, so how many employees do you have? 10 plus?
10 plus. Yep.
All right. And servicing 100 brands?
Yep. That's right.
That's some efficiency right there, dude. That is good. I like it.
Yes. We've been this diamond in the rough for way too long. This is the first year where we're really starting to step out and do marketing. We've had a number of brands come to us and say they've worked with other agencies. They've just been burned in the past, and they're finally thrilled to be working with a company like us. So we're like, you know what? Let's share our message. Let's get ourselves out there a little bit more, because brands are looking for us. So looking for our quality.
Yep. Blake, can I ask, like that's a strong, nice positive feedback you get from new customers there. Can I ask, like, what makes you guys so awesome? Because I believe it to be true.
Yeah, I'll show you. Well, I was going to get into it later, but
let's hold that and come back to it, because we're going to get some time there. But all right, real quick, before we jump to Ali, it looks like we've got some people coming in here. Stephen Cox from the UK, Chicago, Sheena, welcome. Natalie from Florida, Austin from Seattle, very cool. Rahul from India, Lars, I know Lars well. Lars, welcome from San Fran, really cool to see you. And a few others, Georgia, Egypt, nice, I like it. So a good mix, just a few that I've pulled out there, and welcome. Again, keep this engaging, bring us your best questions. We'll either organically answer it as we go, or we'll have some time for Q&A at the end. Ali, give us your intro there, buddy.
Hello. My name is Babul. I am the chief evangelist at Trellis. Trellis is a AI-powered advertising, dynamic pricing, content platform. And so, what's unique about us? We look at all aspects of it. I think everyone in the room here has probably had a problem with their PPC or a problem with their ACOS, and oftentimes it's not just related to your advertising. I know, Blake, you can probably attest to that too. It's related to your price or your promotion or your coupons or your content. And so the way that we view the world and the way that we view Amazon driving sales, driving profitability is the cohesion between those four: your price, your promotion, your content, and your advertising, and bringing those all together in one house to plan, analyze, and action and automate all along the way there too. And so we work with a few hundred brands, a bunch of agencies, a bunch of aggregators and accelerators as well. And I'm really pleased to be able to power a lot of those operations along the way.
And what's a little bit of your background before Trellis?
Fair enough. Yeah, I've been at Trellis now, I think coming up to 3-4 years. And so before that, I used to run an agency myself for about 8 or 9 years there as well, from all aspects of digital, whether it be bringing in and building up your e-com stores to your off Amazon or on Amazon marketing there too, all the way to the development side as well. So been working with brands, being an agency owner for pretty much the better part of the last decade, if not a little longer there too.
Amazing. Awesome.
Oh, I got to add one last thing here, John. I do this for everyone. I surprised and do it for myself. I live in Toronto. I didn't do this for this one, rather. I live in Toronto, home of the 2019 NBA champs.
I was there in Toronto when that happened. So
no way.
That was a good intro to Toronto. I was like, wait, what the hell's going on? I was in a Dan Martell conference. If you guys, anybody in the space know Dan Martell, he's well known in our space. But I was there for a conference, and it was the Toronto was on fire. Yeah,
it definitely was. Fun time to be a Toronto sports fan. Let's go with everything else after that and before that. It's a terrible time to be a Toronto sports fan. So
anyone in the chat, let us know your favorite NBA team or who you think is going to win this NBA finals. Would be interesting.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, guys.
Basketball.
So let me share my screen for a minute. I'm gonna jump in here. Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So as we go through this, guys, we can stay on and keep it conversational. Obviously, you guys are presenting, but as much as our audience will have questions, I'm sure you guys will have really good comments and questions, and that just makes the learning even deeper. So let's stay on while everyone's presenting. We actually had a fourth presenter today, Daniel Tejada from Straight Up Growth, and unfortunately he's stuck on a flight, so he's missed it. But he was going to talk about DSP and AMC. He has sent his slides, and I'm going to go back to him as well and ask him to do a 5-minute video covering his slides. I have his slides somewhere in this. He just sent them over. So for everyone who's registered, we will send that back to you, and we'll send you his slides as well as like a 5-minute overview of what he was talking about, just so you guys can get the benefit of what you sign up for today. So apologies about that, but we do have obviously, Blake and Ali. You guys have heard about their level of expertise, and then obviously I will present as well. I'll come back. But in a nutshell, ZonGuru, we've been around since 2017. We're really an Amazon management system with a lot of AI workflows as well as tools to help brands and agencies scale. So we're all entering this era of AI, but AI has been around for a long time. It's just obviously getting much more consumerized right now. But how do you use all of our tools and all of our workflows to be really efficient as a brand or as an Amazon agency? To achieve your goals and really focus on the things that matter to your business. So that's us. We have tools and workflows in all different areas, everything from niche analysis to our flagship products around SEO, content creation using AI, Rufus optimization. These are kind of things that we all do on our side. I'm the CEO, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys around the topic. So these are the topics, by the way. I've changed mine. I did it last time. I'm doing it again. Sorry. but I'm going to just spend a couple minutes talking about the path to profitable growth and really around this idea of not every sale on Amazon is a good sale. And I'll dive into a bit more on that. Blake, you're going to go first, actually. Oh, no, I'll go first, and then you can follow on from that, Blake, if that's cool. Unlocking seller essentials, hidden features, and then Ali, expanding your reach and maximizing an extended Prime Day. So, that's what we're going to cover today. Anything else you guys want to mention before we just start jumping straight in?
Let's do it.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
It'll be fun.
I'm just going to pop the questions here on the one side. So if I see anything coming up, all right, Ali, you made a note in there. That's cool. All right, sup, dudes. Spriggly, I expect some good questions from you, man. Nada from UK, all good. All right, guys. So let's jump in. I'm going to be pretty succinct in what I'm covering today. This concept of not every sale on Amazon is a good sale. And really what I mean by that is like, obviously there's different ways to get sales, mainly on PPC and the other one being organic. And in theory, if we're getting a PPC sale today, that can be good, at an efficient customer acquisition cost, or it could be even bad where not only is the customer acquisition cost upside down, but the conversion rate of that actually hurts your organic rank over time, right? So understanding, the impact of your PPC sales and what that can do for your business is really important. Now, PPC sales can also be good because it can also help with organic sales and organic rank. So, there's different elements of PPC, but I think in theory, if you're getting a PPC sale today and tomorrow you can move that into an organic sale, that's going to be your most profitable sale, right? And so this is a lot of the ways that we think about Amazon through this lens of like every lever, but how do you have this lens of organic rank over those levers to see how you can move different keywords and sales into organic rank, right? So it's a big concept at ZonGuru that we use for a lot of our customers. So what's the path to better profitable growth? I think the first step here, and I'm going to show you one of the reports we pulled together, but it's understanding keyword rank and rank potential. So taking your whole portfolio and really understanding how are you ranking today, and what are you not ranking for, or what should you be ranking for, and what's the potential of that, right? Those are really critical things to understand from a report basis. This is a big thing for us, which is identifying beyond the buy zone. So, what we call the buy zone is really page one, right? Clearly, I don't know, maybe you guys have a number on that, but 80% of your sales is happening on page one from those keywords organically. So outside of that buy zone, what are you ranking for? Amazon's already identifying you as good for the algorithm, but you're not quite in that buy zone. And so how can you look at those keywords and then figure out how to move those into the buy zone, right? That's for us the best low-hanging fruits and the most impact we have with brands over time is focusing on that low-hanging fruit just outside the buy zone. Clearly, obviously, outside that buy zone, what are those keywords? You have to look for the opportunity in those keywords. So that's a balance of relevancy, volume, competitiveness, conversion rates. Those are kind of things that we look at in detail. And then once we understand that, using Amazon's levers, price, promotion, ads, SEO, ranking campaigns, etc. What are the leverages that we can be proficient with on Amazon, but do it through this lens of helping you with organic growth over time? And that's for us the secret sauce and what can drive a lot of growth over time. And then also you start to experience that halo effect where you start to get traction on these keywords. They're getting better rank, but then it starts to influence other keywords and other positions. Now, this is, as much as everyone's talking about, Rufus and some of these longer tail phrases, etc. Keywords and how you index for those is still really critical in your growth on Amazon. More organic sales, better profits. Okay, so I'm going to just give you a snapshot into some of the secret sauce that we use for some of our qualified enterprise brands, and just conceptually how we look at and audit a portfolio, and then how we then use our technology, our AI flows, and everything to get them growth over time. This is a snapshot of what it looks like. Let me get there. Oops. Okay, so this is in theory what we're doing across the whole portfolio, right? Which is trying to understand, like, let's just say this is one parent ASIN grouping, right, of whatever brand it is. We look at all the keywords that you index for, right? We understand from those index keywords and from that search volume, we understand how much revenue you're generating organically from those keywords, right, on a monthly basis. This is just an example. So in this case here, it's like, hey, I have 150 keywords that are generating about $48,000 a month in terms of sales, right? What we then do is we then group two groups beyond the buy zone, that low-hanging fruit, which we call position 26 to 50, and then positions 51 to 200, right? So those are all the keywords that you index for. And what we do is we identify the keywords in that low-hanging fruit position of, like, let's say there's 105 of those keywords, and we surmise and we say, hey, at that search volume, price, and conversion rate of page 1 in the buy zone, what is the value of those keywords? And it gives you right here, it says like, hey, the value of those keywords is an additional $36,000. So if I moved all of these keywords onto page 1, I'd move my monthly revenue on the organic side from 48,000 to 85. And then obviously if I do the whole, all the way through 200, I can get up to 377,000. So it's giving you a sense of like what the true potential value is of that specific parent grouping of ASINs. And clearly you're not going to drive every single one of those keywords to page 1, right? Well, if you can, then you're a genius, but you're not going to. But then, starting to really understand the relevancy and what are the opportunity keywords that I talked about in this low-hanging fruits and in 51 to 200, identifying what those are, and then using the various levers that you have, again, SEO, ads, promotions, ranking campaigns, whatever those things are, to get them to page 1 and get them to stick there is going to be what drives your business over time, right? And so that's how we look at things. We have different reports and systems in place that you can access so that you can see this growth over time as you get more proficient with all the tools that you use on Amazon to grow. What does that look like when you actually look at the details, right? Like, this is really kind of it, right? And how we look at it, which is, I blurred this out here, but these are the keywords and the revenue generated from those keywords, and we look at that across your whole portfolio. We look at its position, and then we overlay that with ad search volume data, right? So, well, position search volume, and we overlay it with ad data, impressions through ACOS, right? And then we add in additional fields, which is like, are there being ads served on those specific keywords all the way down to the specific keywords? And then we also use a ZG usage score, which is basically telling you, hey, is that keyword either exact or broad matched in your listing? And if it isn't, obviously that's something that has to be improved. And if it is, then you got to check, like, is there an ad or not? Like, clearly if we're running an ad here, but there's no ZG usage, you're losing quality score. So you've got to make sure that you've got the ZG usage on there as well. And then you're going to be that better position to try and drive that keyword into a better position. And this is just the kind of reporting that we're doing, on a daily, monthly basis with some of our premium customers to help them identify, do they have the best baseline listing to best match with the algorithm and give them the most juice from converting sales, and then overlaying the ranking and the ads data to understand, hey, are you actually getting impressions on those keywords, and are you actually using them to drive rank over time? And then we're tracking the rank over time, right? So this is what's really successful for us in terms of helping to see brands grow and organically get more profits and get that halo effect going. Just a reminder, some of the things that you get inside of ZonGuru as a technology. If you sign up, Rufus Listing AI, we're the first to be Rufus optimized. AI image analysis, understanding, out of your niche, what are the types of images you should have in positions 1 to 7, and also what you should be having in your A+ contents. We give you a deep research analysis on that and visual guidelines. Keyword AI generator. We have a PPC AI transparent bidding engine that we can talk to you about. Trellis is going to, have a lot more to talk about on their side as well. And it's a great product as well. But we have that transparent bidding engine as well. We're just moving, the new phrase, I guess, that I don't know if I coined it, but I guess I surmised is AI first optimization versus what was like, hey, we're mobile or browser optimized, right? In terms of if you want to access and look at that kind of data, if you qualify, you can literally get that report and we'll run it for you to see if you're right for that type of client or customer for ZonGuru's technology. You can get that full type of report that I talked about and scratch that itch around like what should we be generating organically and how do we get there. You can just go to qualify for the growth audit, go to zonguru.link/growth audit. Or if you just want to, if you're a brand and you want to just sign up and use our technology straight, just go to zonguru.link/20. Or if an agency and you want to access all of that, you can go to zonguru.link/EP. So that's it from my side. Yeah, any thoughts, I guess, from both of you guys, on what I just covered there. And obviously we'll get some questions in there as well.
Yeah. Go ahead, Blake. Sorry, jump in.
Go ahead. Yeah, you can go first.
No, it's interesting, right? Like at the end of the day, I think the premise is sound, right? And how you think about it, it's like, how do we make sure that we're not cannibalizing organic and making sure that we're driving the most profitable sale, right? I think that's fundamentally the part that you're trying to push there as well. And is there at any point, do you ever say or intentionally say that, hey, you know what, I'm still going to maintain my, or as much as I'm profitable here, I'm within my rank here. At any point, do you say, I'm going to go against that and be intentional for that? Is there any like asterisks to the rule, let's call it?
Against it, like how so?
I don't know if there ever is, but more so like if I'm ranking organically, I'm in that that sweet spot, let's call it, right? Let's make sure that we drive organic versus the paid. Is kind of.
I mean, right? No, because I think at the end of the day, as much as you organically rank, that's going to benefit your business. One thing that we do look at within our bidding engine that we do is use organic rank as a bidding rule, right? So how do you not cannibalize your PPC, your organic sales through PPC? Like, so PPC, and I'm sure you'll talk more about this, but PPC can definitely, you can push on PPC and that can help with your organic sales, right? It just, you get that kind of halo effect. But in some cases, especially if you've got like a lot of organic ranking, if you can put in a rule like, hey, if I rank in organic position 1 to 20 or whatever it is, and therefore don't bid top of search, so I don't cannibalize that with the paid sale, we do see some good results on things like that. So there are ways that we kind of do the opposite, which is not always pushing on PPC, but we dial it back based on organic rank as well.
Yeah. No, it's super interesting. It's definitely the play, right? You're getting the organic sales. At the end of the day, we want to maintain a certain level of tacos and a certain level of profitability. And so definitely I'm going to echo everything you believe to be true there, John, which, part of the reason we're friends.
Yeah.
I got one thing to add too with this, because this is something that we look at honestly all the time. We use Helium 10. We'll extract the keywords, the organic ranking, search volume, etc. for our clients' product listings. Then we compare it to the top seller for that same keyword in that space. And we show them, this is how many keywords you're ranked for organically, and this is how many keywords your competitors are ranked for organically. And you can tell that yours are 500 and theirs are 5,000. So there is a huge difference between you and them. And so there's a lot of strategies to get visibility on those additional keywords. And one of the most important things you can do is update your content by putting keywords throughout your entire content page, through your titles, bullet points, product description, and do not use a keyword twice in your content. That is exactly what we do. We will find synonyms of words. If you're using a certain phrase, we'll find alternative solutions for that also have search volume, and we'll implement that in your content. So you don't repeat yourself twice. And then you also want to use alt text in the premium A+ content, include Spanish keywords as well. That will help you boost your visibility organically for a number of these keywords. Additionally, when it comes to advertising, you want to think about advertising as a way to supplement your organic growth. So if you can get majority of your sales coming in organically, that's significantly more profitable than it is on advertising. And to John's point here, no, not every sale is a good sale. This is very, very true with one of our clients. They're spending $40,000 a month, which was a 20% ACOS or tacos for them. We jumped in, looked at the keywords that they were bidding on, and they were bidding on keywords that they would have been getting the sales anyway organically. So you have to be very careful with advertising in order to make it work correctly.
Yeah, 100%. You know, one thing, just as you know, it's dumbing it down, but in our listing and optimization tools, one thing that we've taught the AI to do really well is to broad match for the most relevant terms in your title. And it's kind of an easy thing in theory to say, but it's actually quite hard to do as a human. But AI just nails it, right? And you have this like really clear, consistent, succinct title, but it's broad matching for most of your relevant terms without repeating keywords, etc. And I think that drives a lot of good organic growth for us over time. So yeah, I think that's good. But you know, Blake, I think you know, if you really want to improve that process further, you should use ZonGuru's tools instead of Helium 10s. I think you'll do.
Yes.
Just kidding. All right, good. All right, so let's jump in. Blake, the floor is yours, man. Let's hear what's going on. I see some really good questions coming in here. We'll come back to that. I think you know, there's some interesting stuff there that's popping in. So keep the questions coming, guys. We're gonna come back to some good Q&A as we get through this.
Awesome. Sounds good. Yeah, I see some of the questions in there. So let me just present my screen again here and I'll dive into it. So let me know when you guys can see this.
Yep.
All right. Got it. Okay, perfect. All right. So this is who we are. Forgot to mention, we do Amazon and Walmart, full service agency with advertising management, A to Z, soup to nuts, all inclusive, whatever you want to call it. We do it all. So quick summary of everything that we do. 3D product imaging, premium A+ content build out, title build out, etc. Kind of, I mentioned that before with SEO optimization. So full detail of everything that we do. So today, what I'm going to be going over is unlocking Seller Central's hidden features. Okay, being in the space for a long time, it is very frustrating trying to navigate to all the different sections on Seller Central, especially if they change. You know, I swear they change every 4 months or less, and so it gets extremely frustrating. And there's a number of hidden features that most sellers are unaware of. And so we're going to dive into a handful of these today. The secret sauce that BLAZON has that most other agencies don't is that we have a 150+ point checklist of everything you can do as an Amazon seller, which includes this selection of items. So we're going to go over new seller incentive benefits and opt-in links. So if you're a new seller, this is very relevant to you. Make sure to grab screenshots of these links as I'm going through this presentation, so you can copy them or type them into your URL, and you can automatically get access to these settings. So we have seller benefits page, in-stock head start, which is a hidden setting, product lifecycle support, subscribe and save, activation, best practices, unlocking customer contact info, email and phone number. Yes, that is a thing. You can do it. Remote fulfillment with FBA, advanced Amazon reports from Amazon's partner agencies, and removing negative product reviews. So that is also a thing that does work. A lot of people are skeptical about it. There's some scams out there. You have to be careful, but you can remove negative product reviews. It's not easy.
And one thing I'm going to say before I know someone's going to say it is that everyone will get a recording of this in the follow-up email. So take screenshots as you must, but if you miss something, you'll get the recording. You'll be able to go back and check it out as well. So I just want to let them know. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. I appreciate that. All right, so let's jump in. New seller incentives, benefits, and opt-in link. So this first link here, all you have to do is you click on it and it will opt you in to the new benefits for new sellers. So if you're just launching on Amazon for the first time, click this link, it automatically opts you into it. The second link here will track your progress in regards to the type of credit and money you're getting back from Amazon in regards to these new seller incentive programs. Okay. However, just opting in isn't enough. You have to do a number of other things, such as completing brand registry within 90 days and opening the seller account and sending inventory into FBA. We have accounts that have unlocked 6 different new seller incentives. You just have to keep an eye out for them and obviously work with us, and we can help you unlock those. So this is what they look like. If you click that first link, it says, thank you for opting in. That's honestly all you have to do. It's that simple. When you do opt in and you start, and these things do get unlocked, these are the things, this is what it'll look like. This is what the page will look like on Seller Central. This will allow you to track your progress with all of this. So there's additional seller incentives that are available. We can help you unlock additional ones. There is additional advertising promotions that you can do. which will get you money back in regards to credit on your advertising campaigns. So for example, if you spend $150 or more with a sponsored brand campaign between X date and X date, you'll get $250 credit, or you'll get $1,000 credit. Amazon does these quite frequently. And if you're working with Amazon and you have a SaaS rep, ask them, they will get these promotions sent to you so you can see what they are. So, all right. Okay, so here's another setting that's hidden. It's called the in-stock head start. Okay, basically what this is if you have a product on Amazon that you've been doing FBA for a very long time, and you've been constantly sending in inventory, and then you guys decide to launch version 2 of a product, or you decide to discontinue that one product, what will happen is this is active for all sellers by default. And what happens is customers will be able to purchase your product even though there's no inventory, and Amazon will tell them that they can get the product later. But they can order the product today, but they'll get the item later. A lot of sellers will run into issues with this. They'll have to cancel orders. Customers get frustrated. So it is definitely a setting I recommend turning off if you do discontinue products. This is what it looks like. If you click on that link, it'll bring you to this page here. All you have to do is click pause. So cool, very simple. Yeah. All right, product lifecycle support. Okay, the whole purpose behind this setting here is to reduce your return rate, which is phenomenal. We have accounts I work with, especially in the apparel category, that had a return rate of 17 to 20%, which is massive. So there's a number of things that we do to reduce your return rate. And the best way to do it is to drive your customers to your website and to your customer support team. However, Amazon has always prevented you from putting your phone number out there and your email out there, so customers can't figure out who you are, etc. But now they've released a number of things where you can actually put your contact information out there. So this is a really important one, this product lifecycle support. This is what it looks like on the next page. When you click on the link, it'll bring you here. You have the video program and the OEM program. Okay, the most important one is the OEM program, because what you do there is you'll plug in your customer service phone number, and then you'll also plug in the days and times that your business is open, so customers can contact you via phone. Then you can also include a link to your website where it says contact us. So a customer will plug in their name, their email, and a message about their order, whatever it is, and then you can handle the customer service issue outside of Amazon entirely. So when you activate this OEM program, what ends up happening is when customers are on their phone or on desktop trying to return their product, there's an option that will pop up saying contact manufacturer. If they click on that, it'll take them to a page where they can call you directly or to your website. So it helps reduce customer return rate because you can resolve a lot of issues just by giving them additional information that they need about the product, how to install it correctly, whatever the case is. This program is very beneficial. So the second program with this is the video program. So when you click on this, it will take you to the catalog or to the video upload section, but it will be hyperlinked with product support. So same thing there, when customers are trying to process their return, there's an option to view videos. They can click on that and it'll show up a number of videos for them to view. We have a perfect example of this. One of our clients, Half Tee, they sell crop tops. And for people of different sizes, you can actually take the shirt, the crop top, and you can reverse it or flip it around 180 degrees. And so the shirt will fit differently based on your size. So if customers order a product that seems a little too big, they flip it around, it feels a little bit smaller, and vice versa. So very helpful program. Highly recommend everybody takes advantage of it. Again, here's the link, grab a screenshot of it. We've seen a return rate reduction by about 2 to 4% on average. So, all right. Okay, let's keep going. Subscribe and save activation. Okay, so we are always surprised on the type of products that are approved in subscribe and save. There's products that are in grocery category that make a whole lot more sense. Then there's other products that are outdoor that don't make sense. But however, those products do sometimes qualify for subscribe and save. So Amazon has lowered the entry requirements for subscribe and save. Before it was pretty high. And then one day we just saw a mass acceptance rate across all of our accounts for subscribe and save, which was huge. And so highly recommend taking advantage of this. When you first launch subscribe and save for any product, do 5% off. If your subscribe and savers are buying 2.5 times the average cart value, you should increase your subscribe and save discount to 10% off. That will drastically improve the number of subscribers you are getting. And so make sure you are checking this. Okay, this tool is very powerful. This is one of our clients right here. Currently, they have 16,815 subscribers. I pulled this screenshot this morning, which is an average of $50,000 per week for subscribe and save sales. When you get these orders coming in, it is phenomenal to have. So highly recommend you check into this. This setting isn't hidden. It is in your settings section on the top right corner of Seller Central. Click Fulfilled by Amazon, scroll to the very bottom, and then you'll have your subscribe and save settings. You click on that and it'll open up the dashboard. So that's where it's hidden. And it's moved around a couple of times. So having a link on hand is a lot easier. All right, unlocking customer contact info, email, and phone number. Okay, this is possible. Most sellers don't think it is. We've read a lot of forums saying it's not, but we have clients that we work with currently that do have access to emails and phone numbers. Okay, in order to unlock it, you have to work with a SaaS rep. There's no other way of doing it. You do have to pay a strategic account services rep, which I believe is $1,800 a month plus. I think it's like 0.5% of sales up to like $5,000 a month for a minimum of 3 months. That's Amazon's rep. If you work with them, you can ask them to dive into unlocking the email and phone number for customers. There is more of a leniency if your products are oversized, like furniture sized products, anything that you're going to ship via LTL or on a pallet. So any smaller products, they don't really unlock that, but anything LTL is they're open for that. So all right, remote fulfillment with FBA. This used to be called NARF, or North America Remote Fulfillment. Everybody is automatically enrolled in this program. What most sellers don't understand is that you can be losing money right now on all of these orders coming in from Canada and Mexico due to the remote fulfillment with FBA. Okay, so in order to make sure that you are not losing money, what you have to do is you have to go in the back end of each listing, go under offer, and then down to Canada, Mexico, Brazil, and update your price points, because you as a seller, you are paying the FBA fee, which is typically $4 to $5 higher than the normal FBA fee. So make sure you go in through all your listings, check this, or if you want, you can opt out of the program entirely. Here's the link here. Just jump in and you can turn it off per marketplace. So if you only want to do Canada and not Mexico, you can turn Mexico off, and you can also see all the eligible products that you have, etc. So highly recommend making changes to this. Most sellers are losing money. They don't know it, but yeah, take a look into this. So all right, okay. Advanced Amazon reports with Amazon's partnered agencies. Amazon does have a program called Service Provider Network, which they're changing over to the SPP, Solutions Provider something. I forget what it is. I swear they're going to change the name on it again. But here's us. This is our old logo, but we are partnered with Amazon. And because we have this partnership, we are able to get user permissions to seller accounts through in a different way outside of secondary users, which allows us to get additional information and data about your account that you can't get from Seller Central. So make sure you partner with an agency like us. All right, removing negative product reviews. It works. We charge $250 per negative product review. Because you guys have participated in this meeting today, we will take off $50 per negative product review if you want us to work on your account. This can be massive in regards to your sales. We have we've had a couple of accounts where the products take a little bit more education, and what ends up happening is these customers will buy their product and they don't use it correctly, leaving a negative product review, dropping the star rating from like a 4.2 to a 3.8, which according to Amazon's algorithm will drastically hurt your visibility and your ranking. And so being able to remove those negative reviews is extremely helpful. Okay. So the process for it is very difficult. We are able to do it. We have to do it through brand registry, through seller support. We have to be very careful with how it's addressed. And so I don't recommend doing this on your own. That's why I'm not giving any of those secrets away today. So, all right, here's our secret sauce and kind of our special offer. So this is the checklist. It's a 150 point plus checklist of everything you can do as an Amazon seller. We've dove into everything from listing optimization, account optimization, advertising optimization. We put it all together in a giant Excel sheet. And when clients work with us, we make sure everything is checked off, discussed, reviewed, etc. on each account. Okay. This is a very powerful tool. We track the progress of everything on this. In here, everything, if you double click on it, it will open up a full section about additional links, how to access these additional things, etc. We do not share this with anybody. However, with our new marketing efforts for 2025, I'm willing to give this away to anybody in this event today for $100. I'll go over that and how to do that here in a little bit. But this checklist covers everything from account setup, making sure your settings are all activated. You're taking advantage of all these additional things that you can do as an Amazon seller to reduce your return rate. We jump into listings, all the additional things that you can do here, setting up business to business, 20% higher on your list price, making sure AI Rufus image checks and ChatGPT, A/B title tests, etc. All of that is in here, as well as account health. We manage all the issues in account health, submit cases, monitor that. Advertising promotional setup. We have Prime Day coming up. We want to make sure the right type of promotions are submitted. Third-party tools, value adds, like adding big things to your account, like HSA and FSA enrollment to all of your product listings. Many sellers don't know that this is an option. You can definitely do it, and we have the ways to do it. If you want to, all the information is right here. So I'm willing to give this away for $100 to anybody that wants it today. So jumping back here, we'll dive into a couple other things here. $100, the checklist is yours. Here's my Venmo. Venmo me $100. Just in the description, put BLAZON checklist, include your name and email, and I'll get all of these sent down to you guys later today. If you have any additional questions, here's my contact info here, Gale@blazonpros.com. Yeah, so additional case studies and whatnot, but I'm not going to get into all of that today. But I appreciate being on this call with Jon and Ali, and I've looked at the powerful tools that ZonGuru has developed. And if you guys aren't taking advantage of ZonGuru, I highly recommend you do that today. It'll make managing your Amazon seller account significantly easier for you. And yeah, thank you guys for your time. Any questions for me?
Blake, I'm in Canada. I don't got Venmo. What do I do?
PayPal works too.
PayPal works. All right, we're going back to the original form of what, let's call it, electronic payments, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I guess email Blake if you guys don't have Venmo. But I mean, dude, do we get mate rates? On the $100? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm taking advantage of that. I'll be sending over.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Yeah, it's really well organized, and it's funny that Amazon. I just love the way Amazon operates. Sometimes it's like, hey, you know what? We're not going to give you customer contact information, but we're going to take all your percentage commission because you're using our platform. And then, by the way, if you really want it, just pay us some more money on a monthly basis, and we'll figure out how to get it to you with the SaaS lineup. So yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. The first time we figured it out, it wasn't a part of SaaS. We actually worked with the guy that developed the SaaS or the SPN and helped grow the SaaS portion of Amazon. And he's like, oh yeah, you can just unlock this. And the big secret to unlocking the email and phone number was you have to get enrolled in this program, and then you have to take off one of the zip codes in the country in order to unlock the email and phone number. one of the weirdest, dumbest things as part of Amazon Seller Central, but got it to work. So
yeah.
Yeah.
They give you the email address, phone number, but if you want to know where they live, that's where they draw the line.
yeah.
That's super interesting. Blake, that checklist is quite comprehensive. Like you're going all the way from like trademarks, what it looked like was trademarks, all the way down. How'd you put that together? Just like experience, just from what you've seen and what you feel is the best thing for brands, or what?
Yeah, so that was kind of the biggest thing that pushed me into a different direction, because when I was working at another agency before, all my clients were seeing success, and I kept telling everybody, "Oh yeah, you should do this, and you should do this, and do that."
Yeah.
And not a lot of the other account managers in that agency were doing that. And then I just had to step out. I'm like, listen, I have a full roadmap here of everything that you can do. And that's what we took advantage of. So the biggest thing here that most sellers don't understand is how Amazon's algorithm works. Okay, if you want to participate in beta programs and pilot programs at Amazon, you have to do everything on this checklist. Like if you are not adapting things that they recently rolled out, for example, premium A+ content, or completing your seller profile or your brand profile, they're not going to reach out to you and say, hey, do you want to participate in this beta program that does X, Y, and Z? But guess what? Our clients do. They participate in 90% of all of the beta programs that are rolled out. So the algorithm is all designed around, if you pull all the levers, then your sales increase. But what most sellers do is they pull the levers that will bring in the most sales, but they don't pull all the levers that are available to them. And so they miss out on huge potential, huge margins, etc.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, John.
No, go for it.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because there's a bunch of stuff that you have to do to, let's call it, it's not even to stay compliant. It's to be like the champion of Amazon and doing it exactly how they want you to do it, which is an ever evolving thing as well. But in terms of like, if we look at like, let's call it the go-to-market side or kind of the revenue driving side, does that checklist incorporate some of that? Like, hey, think about this for your promo strategy or your content, or think about this for your price and how you evaluate that. And I'm assuming PPC there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does encompass a lot of that. I mean, granted, taking this checklist and working with experts in the space, like us, that kind of understand the products and product recommendations and strategies based on what we're seeing, it will make the process a whole lot easier for you. But I mean, there's sellers that have taken advantage of this and done it all on their own. We had one client that actually was invited to a big Amazon event. I think it's Amazon Accelerate in Seattle. Pulled him up on stage, showed him the performance of his account, and he's constantly getting pilot programs, and he's in communication with Amazon all the time. So he kind of has a special connection with Amazon because he's been doing everything that they ask.
Yeah. It's definitely valuable. It's a valuable piece. I imagine after this conversation, it's going to be 152, right? Like it's sign up with ZonGuru and sign up with Trellis as well, right? Those are the.
Yes.
No, I think we always say to sellers, like, as soon as you really understand, I mean, it's an obvious concept, but as soon as you really understand that, like, if you align better with Amazon's goals, which is twofold. One is to help bring a better experience to customers, and two, make more money for Amazon. Once you align with those two things, you get into more programs, right? So, everything that comes your way, you need to participate in as a seller, rightly or whether you don't disagree. But the more you participate in, the more you do, the more you're aligning with what their goals are, and that's how you get more into their circle of trust, right? So, really important point. Okay, good. All right, Ali, we're going to hand over to you. Let's jam. Keep the questions coming, guys. I've seen everyone's been listening attentively, but questions have dropped off. So throw them in there, because we're going to come back to them in Q&A in just a few minutes, probably about 10 minutes or so. We'll do some Q&A, and we'll have some good conversation. So let's keep it rolling.
Yeah. All right. So a lot of it today, I think there's a lot of different pieces here. It's AMC is definitely one of the things that everyone it feels more topical, even though it's been around for a little bit. And a lot of what I want to talk about, considering we are leading into Prime Day. I actually talked about this a little bit before as well. But I'm going to start with going through some of the AMC pieces here. But more importantly, coming out of this, I will give you kind of some audiences that you should be building, how to think about it, some where it's relevant in your strategy, and how to incorporate it as well. But I think we can all agree this to be true. Like you sound off in the comments here as well, but growing profitably is super challenging. To add a secondary layer to this as well, but growing profitably on during Prime Day is also challenging too, right? I think we all have seen that play out in some shape or form. And Blake or John, giving me the head nods here as well. So it's how do we figure out what we can do about it? And I think that a lot of times we go back to some of the things that we already know, right? It's some of the things that we saw on a YouTube video or something that you heard on a webinar or whatnot. But what's been happening over time now is that we all have become very strong and very experienced and experts around how we create our advertising strategies, right? All of our keywords and our competitor and our generic and our branded. And essentially what's playing out is your competitor and you are running the exact same playbook, right? We're running the exact same strategy. Agreed, there's nuance to your product, nuance to your brand, of course. But if there any semblance of competent, your competitors, any semblance of competency there as well, we're all going to be doing very similar things to try and win that customer and try and win that shopper. And so what we're not doing today, though, is leveraging shopper data. And that's really where AMC comes into play, right? That everything we're thinking about from our advertising strategy and that full funnel approach that I like to talk about a lot, but I think everyone understands, is really keyword and target based. Let's look at it the other way and say, how do we incorporate the shopper data on top of that? And in the absence of doing that, we're going to keep doing the same stuff. So from here on out, and don't say anyone, if anyone is here, don't say no one told you, but in order for us to continue to win on Amazon, in order for us to continue to win on Prime Day, and looking at the future, we need to start looking at this shopper data. We need to start leveraging AMC and overlaying that on top of our ads approach, right? And like I said, AMC unlocks that data, and audiences are the key to that approach, right? So I've talked about it a little bit, but today's full funnel advertising looks something like this, right? We can probably debate the use of DSP at various different points. I think everyone has their own perspective there. We can debate different elements here as well. But in the essence of it, we're all leveraging these type of placement opportunities at the various different stages of the funnel, right? Blake, John, give me a thumbs up if you agree, or a thumbs down if you disagree.
Keep rocking, bro. Sounds good.
Yeah. So that being said, audiences, it doesn't change any of that. It's really just an add-on, right? And I'm going to say that again. A lot of what we're doing right now, we don't need to change. We just need to add on our audiences to that and think about how we incorporate it. And so I'm going to show you something in action, and I think we've all created this as well. And Blake and John, I might keep pulling on you throughout all of this too. I like talking to myself, but normally it's in front of a mirror, not a screen. But in terms of this kind of campaign here, right? Like, tell me if you guys have done versions of this, right? I need a brand awareness campaign. It's manual one, keyword, assuming this is a supplements company in this world. And then we put our placement multipliers on top of that, and we negate our brand keywords. We all do this. We've done this.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. And so if the performance of that, and actually I'm going to go back a step, what would you expect from performance on that? How would you expect let's call it the CPCs to play out on that? Probably high CPCs. Yeah, high CPCs, high cost. Spend a lot of money to get a little bit of customers, high A costs. Probably all true, right? And that's exactly what plays out, right? Like this is real data from the platform here as well. Good number of impressions, but low ad sales. Our A cost is super high. Our needed brand customers really only got 10 throughout all of this time, right? And this is actually from some earlier data in the year. So now, if we look at the audiences side of that, right? We say, hey, you know what? I'm going to run the same campaign, my same need a brand awareness campaign. I'm going to add on and create an audience of customers who have the highest lifetime value for me across my brand, right? And arguably, those are our best customers. That's what we all look for. We want the highest lifetime value customers and to acquire them for cheap, right? And we can, as part of audiences, you can create lookalikes. You can create and say, do I want this to be exactly these customers? Do I want them to be close, like similar, most similar, balanced? And you can get broader from there. And it starts going from like that base element all the way down to like that plus 10% around that. And then leveraging multipliers as well, right? That the same way we look at our placement multipliers, you have an audience multiplier. And what that's telling Amazon is, especially with the audience added on, is only show my ad to someone who is within this group of people, right? And you're willing to pay more for that, right? And that's what the audience is overlaying on top of. And so this is probably a crude analogy, but if we all window shop at some shape or form, or used to, and you're walking down the street, imagine that with this audience overlay on top, you're essentially telling the store, open or close the blinds in the storefront for only people, and only open it for people who are most likely to buy or look like my best customers, right? And we're sufficiently doing that same approach here on Amazon, right? And so the data on that, and actually I'm gonna show it to you here, leveraging the exact same keyword, the exact same campaign set up. The delta is actually really interesting, right? Our conversion rate went up, and we can logically surmise as to why that's the case. It's our best customers, right? People who look like our best customers. They share the same characteristics, the same attributes. And arguably, Amazon probably has the most data on shoppers that exist, right? And probably, I'd actually say Costco is one better. And when Costco launches a marketplace, that's going to be really interesting. But if we keep going down this path, my ad sales are there, a bit more of ad spend. But again, if I'm getting that conversion that I'm getting, it's even better. Taking that to my ACoS to my customer range, it's about 44% is my ACoS. That's a substantially better ACoS to acquire customers and new to brand customers, and we're getting that. But the important part to note here is that in this world, my customer acquisition cost, right? How much it cost me to get this customer, both drastically different, right? $145 to about $55. On the left side here, when I run it just the keyword approach, what's playing out is that we're getting a bunch of customers who may become our best customers. They might buy from us again. They might come back. They might end up repurchasing the product. We really don't know. But on the other side, logically, and we can surmise this as well, is that we're acquiring customers who look like our best customer, right? And which one do we always want? We want ones that we want to get customers who will become our best customers, right? And so you're acquiring more customers and better customers and at a cheaper rate. So if for anyone who hasn't actually leveraged audiences or seen these kind of things play out, and it's time to kind of start shifting that playbook and start shifting and understanding what are the audiences that are important to me, which ones will allow me to create a go-to-market strategy or an advertising strategy that will be sufficiently equally as cost effective while driving better customers for me, right? And those are the questions you kind of want to ask yourself. I'm going to pause here really quickly, and Blake and John, tell me thoughts. What do you think? Have you seen this play out for yourselves? Do you leverage AMC? Do you not? Talk to me about how you guys are kind of recrafting the playbooks with AMC in the mix.
Yeah, honestly, audience targeting is one of the best things you can be doing right now. The advertising has changed so much in the last 8 years that I've been in the space. I remember when it was just sponsored products and sponsored brand campaigns. One of the biggest things that you can do is make sure you're taking advantage of targeting your audiences and pair this targeting with brand tailored promotions. Okay, if you jump into brand tailored promotions, you're able to provide discounts specifically for different audiences. So like high potential customers, frequently, customers that are purchasing multiple times, etc. So there's lots of different things you can do here. Highly recommend this. It will reduce your ACoS significantly.
And get you better customers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, better customers, people that will typically keep the product.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I think the way you explained it, which is like this layered approach, right? And what are the different layers you can build on the baseline of your campaigns to get better audiences, better ACoS, better LTV. Very solid. Yeah.
And so it's super fun. I know there's a few questions here. For those that haven't used audiences before, you can leverage audiences across all of the placement types at this point. And for sponsored products, it's a multiplier that you're doing similar to your top of search, similar to your rest of search or your PDP as well, right? And so you're giving it a multiplier and increasing your bid to get in front of that customer. For SD, you can use that exact audience, and for DSP, you can use that exact audience. Or again, and what I mean by a specific audience, but you can, which can be exact or broad or similar or whatnot there as well. And so what does it mean for Prime Day? I think someone's getting ahead here. Zor, get in there. What does it mean for Prime Day? I'm going to start with what happens on Prime Day. This is some data from last year. And last year I did a post Prime Day for brands that participated and brands that didn't participate, and did kind of a cohesion there. And so I pulled that forward here. We all see this play out normally, right? That the lead into Prime Day, sales start dropping. Arguably, it drops even earlier than the ones that I'm pulling in here. And then the lead out, we see a bump on the next day, but also kind of a trailing effect as well, right? So you can see that over the course of Prime Day, we end up seeing an increase of about 30% of sales throughout the entire window, right? And we saw about 170% increase here on the actual July 16th, 17th. But people are growing a lot more. I think this is all things that we expect to be true. And even leading out, it's about 1.2x higher for those brands that participated than it is for those that didn't. From a profit standpoint, because that's one thing that we truly believe here at Trellis, profit does drive all things. Profit is important, and getting to profitability and maintaining and growing profitably is the main goal here. You can see how it's that much higher as well, right? And these are all brands that have leveraged our platform or ones that we work with as well. So it's super interesting. Like, overall profitability grew about 33% in that Prime Day window, including the lead in and lead out versus before, right? And so it's about really understanding what is causing that, how are you driving success there, and tying into some of those products that you're selling there too. That being said, we know that profiting goes up, we know that a margin goes up, and the ability to, gross merchandise value and how much you sell goes up. And so what audiences should I create, right? We know there's a lead in period, we know sales come down. Realistically, this is the first audience that we should look at. When I shop before Prime Day, I'm actually looking and trying to find products that I'm going to buy. I'm going to wait for Prime Day to see if there's a deal, right? We all do this. We all know this happens. We know that, and we see that from the data standpoint. We see that anecdotally as consumers as well, being consumers ourselves. So let's actually take that first step. Who are the high intent shoppers? People that have viewed and added to cart, but did not purchase in the last 30 days, right? And then from the other side of that is saying, okay, well, these are people who have looked at it, they've done their evaluation, and think of your Prime Day shoppers and people who are doing this specifically. They're just going, they stop where they are in the funnel. They could be at, if we look at awareness, consideration, purchase intent. A lot of them, the add to cart would be the purchase intent, the viewed would be the consideration, and then they stop and wait for Prime Day to continue down that funnel, right? So here we're saying, let's actually go ahead, create that audience, people who didn't buy in the last 30 days leading up to it, and then actually create campaigns on those with that audience, with that exact audience, to say, hey, let's get in front of them, make sure they buy, and we push them down that funnel. Super simple, super relevant and logical as to what we should do, and make sure we get those window shoppers pre-Prime Day as well, on the Prime Days there too. As we keep going, John and Blake, if you have anything to add on, feel free to jump in. But the next audience that look like it would be the repeat buyers of a specific ASIN, right? Or for your brand. They already trust your brand. They've already bought from you. Think about people who bought in the last 30 days, for example, or 60 days or 90 days. Let's start upselling them. And the way we look at this at Trellis is saying, well, if I know what my Halo product is, anyone, and by Halo, I mean the #1 product that drives the most amount of sales across my entire catalog, paid and organic, right? So Halo product being the #1 product drives the most amount of sales across my entire catalog. If I know what that is, and let's say everyone who bought this product A, right? What did they buy after? And you can see this very easily in Trellis through our insights there as well. But it's the next layer. It's saying, okay, well, after they buy product A, they buy product B, or they buy product C. And so let's actually target those people, especially if they have deals on them. Let's target those people who've bought that product A and with product B and C on this day, because we know that's the path that our existing customers and existing shoppers take, right? So same kind of thing here. We're going to look at creating that audience around that, people who bought product B and C as a result of buying A, and actually hit them with upselling and cross-selling approaches there too. And your bidding strategy really here is going to be, let's make sure we try and win these. Let's spend a bit more. As you keep going, new to brand customers in the past 60 days, again, people who bought your product, they've already converted, they've already become part of your brand. Let's get them to make a second purchase. Let's promote related or frequently related brought together items to build that AOV, right? Because at the end of the day, and a slight tangent here, we have 3 strategies to winning as a whole, as a brand. Doesn't matter what channel. I increase my new to brand, I increase my repeat purchase, and I increase my average order value. Those are the 3 things you're always trying to do. Right. And so coming back around here to saying, okay, well, let's make sure we go after these people. They're familiar with the brand. They like it. Assuming they like it, and we all know what liking it is based on other data sets, whether it be reviews or return rate or anything like that as well. Let's push them to make a second purchase, especially when you're in a consumable category, right? That if they bought product A, it's going to run out in 60 days. Let's make sure we push product A back to them and get them back in the funnel here, and they don't actually go to a competitor during this time, because that's going to be really, really important, is protect your customer base during this too. Right. And then we can start looking at going after some of our competitor and start conquesting in this way. Let's actually look at competitor detail page viewers here. In market, aware of your category, didn't convert on competitor's product, sponsored ad strategy here as well. I'm going fast for time. All of this will be there. Most importantly, who are the shoppers that engaged with you on Prime Day last year? Let's hit them again, right? We know they did it once. Will they do it again? When it comes down to your DSP or anything like that, we can say, take it one step further and create the query to understand what was the frequency that we need to hit to get them to convert to. And we can create an audience from that, leverage that frequency as part of our approach in terms of our strategy and market there for DSP, making sure we hit that across the board. And so from an overall perspective, don't forget your lead in. Those are the window shoppers, and leverage these audiences throughout Prime Day, especially we got 4 days this year. Because we want to make sure we get in front of these type of shoppers, whether they be ones that haven't converted, being your window shoppers, ones that have converted with you and the most recently converted that you can get them onto something else, or getting them or going down the path here saying Prime Day, right? Have they bought from me on Prime Day before? If so, there's a high chance they'll buy from me again. Questions?
Yeah, let's jump into questions. I think we're gonna get there in a second, but Ali, that was epic. I think we covered some really good things there. We actually have a technology that if people add stuff to their cart before Prime Day, on Prime Day it automatically converts and you get the sale. Just kidding.
Okay.
That'd be nice. I was gonna say, wait a minute. You didn't tell me about that.
I'm like, that's a good one, right? No, good stuff there. I mean, some really solid ad strategies there. Guys, if you like this content, give us a quick comment. I think there's a good variety of education strategies, and I thank you guys for like really showing us behind the curtain and showing us a lot of the things that you guys are doing on your side. That was super cool. We're gonna go to some questions here and do Q&A just for a couple more minutes. I think we have about 10 minutes left, so we'll do some Q&A. I think the last thing I just want to get from you guys before we jump deep into Q&A is maybe just think of like, if there's one thing that sellers should be doing in 2025 that you think is going to help them with exceptional growth, what do you see that as? It can be related to clearly the Amazon space, e-commerce, personal as a business leader, but maybe just take a second and think about something there that you think is really going to be helpful in their exponential growth. I'll go first because I just put you guys on the spot. But I think from my side, what is the one thing that I think will help you with exponential growth in 2025? I would say lean into AI, and that's an obvious answer. But what I mean by that is one thing that I've been doing a lot myself is restructuring my daily routine to focus on having more engagement with AI. So I start my day, I have a certain process and relationship with ChatGPT that helps me to really think about, what I'm focusing on, automating tasks, and putting at least 20% of my time into conversations and prompts with AI on a personal level with my work to help me with, 40 to 50% more executional output, right? And so I say, we're all in e-commerce, we're in brands, we're selling on those things, but we can't get left behind, right? And so as leaders, as brand owners, as people in space, make sure that you're structuring your daily process and lean into the conversations you can have and the prompts and the automation and the guidelines you can get from AI. It really helps you to kind of get through some of the muck and just focus on what is important, and then improves your executional output. So that's just, I guess, what popped into my head in terms of what I would share to help you with your exponential growth 2025. Blake or Ali, anything you guys want to cover there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I hear a lot of people say, is AI going to take over the world? You know, that's the common question. No, but businesses that know how to use AI will. That's the correct response. If you know how to use AI correctly, it is extremely powerful. It will save you a ton of time and money paying somebody else to write content for you, build graphics for you. There's a couple of really good AI tools that we use outside of ChatGPT, which is called All3D. If you guys want to write that down, All3D, you can take a picture of a product with your cell phone, upload it, get a 3D rendering, put it in somebody's hand, get a short little video of them turning it. If it's a candle, it can blow out the candle. It is incredible AI. So highly recommend it. My piece of advice is kind of along those same lines of AI, but it's focused on content, okay? Content creation. For 2025, you need to be creating new content, new titles, new bullet points, new product descriptions, premium A+ content, back-end search terms. You need to be testing all of these new things, and you need to be creating all of these new things, utilizing AI to help you create them, and pulling in data and utilizing AI to mesh it all together to take the guesswork out of it in order to get the right content so everything sounds smooth and is better presented to the customer about your products. So highly recommend content creation, and obviously get our checklist. It is significant for 2025 on Amazon. It will help you get everything completed to unlock all these additional features that you had no idea existed.
You just made $100 out of me. Yeah, it's good. All right, Hattie.
It's always a tough one. Especially right now, being halfway through 2025, starting some of these things, obviously starting anytime is probably the best place to be. But one of the things that I think is most important today, and on the vein of AI, on the vein of technology, there's so much data, right? There's so much data that comes in. There's so much data that you can look at and optimize against to be able to determine that. And so when using technology is a must, and if you're not, then you're definitely behind everyone else, right? And so again, on the same vein, doing more of the same isn't going to cut it anymore. And so for the rest of the year, and let's call it for the entirety of it, I'd probably say that the feedback loop, right? Build a feedback loop between your price, between your advertising, between DSP, between AMC, right? Understand your shoppers, understand how you advertise to those shoppers, understand how you price, and create a system for yourself that allows you to evaluate each one of these areas and how you pull them all together on a bi-weekly basis or a monthly basis. But you should always be looking at each thing in cohesion, in correlation, in collaboration versus individually and siloed. And so today, I think we do a lot of that. I think we look at PPC in isolation. I think we look at pricing in isolation. We look at our shoppers, our promotions in isolation, our inventory in isolation. Doing all of that in that way doesn't really work anymore and won't drive you to the success that you need in the world that I call AI AI is the year of 2025, it feels like. But it's build that feedback loop between the 4 drivers that drive success for you on Amazon.
Awesome. Good, guys. All right. Well, if you just want to pick out a question that might relate to what you were talking about from the audience here, I'll leave it up to you guys to pick out 1 or 2 questions. I can go first. Haney Assel, you had a question there. How does the off Amazon traffic affect that? And I think you're talking about, like, in this process of looking at organic rank, looking at your buyer zone and the low hanging fruit outside of that, and all the levers that you have on Amazon to help with rank improvements. Off Amazon traffic, absolutely, right? I mean, last year for sure, Amazon was really focused on, like, hey, we have all the traffic that we have on the Amazon platform, and if you bring us outside traffic, we'll reward you, we'll give you a rebate, all of these kind of things. So certainly, if there's ways that you can help Amazon get a sale that they weren't going to get, they're going to reward you, right? And they've changed a little bit of that of late, but you driving outside traffic 100% will help. I think the one thing that you have to watch there is just to make sure that it's qualified traffic coming, right? Because you don't want to hurt your impression to conversion rate. You don't want to hurt that. So having a typical squeeze page or ways of ensuring that the traffic that's coming there, whether it's a newsletter or from an offer, is actually qualified, that's going to help you a lot in that and give you a big bump. So yeah.
That's kind of a good one. Like, how does so this question here from Hani is, how does the off Amazon traffic affect that, specifically in regards to like SEO? So there's been there's been a lot of discussion around this, and Amazon kind of shut it off for a little while. There's a program called Pixel Me that Carbon 6 owned that they recently got rid of. Basically, what it did is you would embed certain keywords into a link that's off of Amazon, driving traffic to Amazon, and it will improve your SEO. Amazon kind of cracked down on that, but Pixel Me was able to find a way around that, so it is possible. However, the biggest thing is if you can drive traffic to Amazon from outside sources like Facebook, Google Ads, website, whatever it is, Amazon will check that box off for you, saying that you are driving traffic to Amazon from outside sources. That will improve your visibility. And so I highly recommend doing that at least twice a month if you want to run a social media, Facebook post, or whatever it is. Make sure you take advantage of the brand referral bonus program as well. That gives you 10% credit back on all orders that come in from outside traffic.
Yeah. Therein lies the point, right? They're going to reward you for the outside traffic. And, you know, if you're doing it at the right conversion rate, you know, all traffic will lift your boat and you'll see that halo effect happen. So definitely do it. What else? You guys got any other questions there you want to answer?
I think I hit a few of the audience questions along the way there. I'll be very explicit though. I know Sheena, you had one around proposing using audiences primarily by SV placements or SD campaigns. I think you should use audiences across the board. I think your playbook should be shopper informed, is what I'm calling them. And there are obviously benefits to leveraging, let's call it keywords, or let's call it the Amazon audiences that exist there as well. But getting the ability to target shoppers and work with audiences now is the way that you're going to drive success in the future. So SP, SB, SD, SBB, DSP, insert all the acronyms that we know that exist for every single placement type at this point.
All right, Blake, what you got? Anything there?
Yeah, question from Sheena. Does the checklist cover all marketplace, US, Canada, UK, Mexico, etc.? Yes, it does. However, there are certain countries that don't have some of the programs that are listed in our checklist. Those are unique specifically for the US. But I'd say 90% of all items on the checklist will apply to each country.
All right, guys, I think we're good. I think we've run out of time. Thank you again, everyone, for participating, for the good questions. Guys, I think you knocked it out of the park. I think you really took to the spirits of what this series is, which is to really share and unpack and give value back to everyone here. You know, this recording will go out to everyone here live and everyone who registered. Check out LinkedIn. It's on my LinkedIn. You know, we'll put a couple of these clips on YouTube. We'll give it to you guys as well, that you guys can spread the word as well. So thank you so much for your time. And everyone here, good luck in 2025, and please reach out again if you want to get Blake, how do they get hold of you?
BLAZONPros.com, or just Blake Gale at BLAZONPros.com. Email me directly, and that'll work best.
Ali?
Yeah, Ali at GoTrellis.com, Ali at GOTRELLIS.com. I'm going to add one caveat. I'm getting married in 2 weeks, and so I won't be able to meet with you for about a month at the very least. So, but
where's the location?
We got step 1 in Toronto, and then we got let's call it days 2, 3, and 4 in the true South Asian vibe here, the Indian vibe. We'll be in Mexico.
Awesome. Congratulations, that's exciting.
Yeah,
that's great, dude. Yeah, well, enjoy, man. And yeah, if you want to get hold of me, ZonGuru.com, or my LinkedIn. I think it's / Jon Tilley, JONTLLEY, or John JON at ZonGuru.com. Hit me up. Let's help you guys. Let's crush it the rest of this year. And thank you guys again. And we'll be in touch following this. But I appreciate it. We'll catch you guys later.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Thank you guys. Thanks, John.
Thanks.
Yeah.